I have two older brothers who live overseas and have done so for most of my life. Recently, one of my brothers has gotten engaged and they have decided to get married in a month's time. Even though we have not seen each other very much over the years, I love both of my brothers very much, and family is very important to me, so it would be so important to me to be there. Now to the problem. I have two children, 2 and 8, with my partner, and due to some serious issues, he does not get along with my parents. I intend on going overseas with my 2 kids and my mother for 4 days to support my brother. My partner has said that I can go alone, pay for him to go as well, or not go at all. Due to the issues between him and my mother, him coming is not an option. Also, I can barely afford to pay for the kids and my own tickets. Not going is absolutely hurting me emotionally because this is my brother, it's an important life event, and I want to support him. Also, I was there for my eldest brother for his wedding. Going without my kids isn't really an option either. My 2-year-old has only been away from me for 1 night, and he stayed with my parents. He also misses his uncles. My 8-year-old has his heart set on going since he has never been out of the country and does not want to be left behind. I have waited for 2 weeks for my partner to think it over. I have less than 2 weeks to book tickets, and my family are waiting on my decision. When I brought it up, we had a massive fight, and he has told me no, as he is not comfortable with the kids being so far away from him. It is a 5-hour flight overseas. He has also said that as I never provide the things he needs that are important to him, then why should he allow me to do what is important to me, such as buy him a shed for his car, and so he can do activities with his kids in. Also, as he has never been overseas for a holiday before, he wants to go and he wants to be there for our kids' first trip on an airplane. I feel like I'm going nuts, because what he is talking about is my lack of monetary support versus an important family event. Also, he had asked me a few months back if I wanted to go with him overseas to the same country as I need to go to now for a work event. However, I declined as I didn't think we could leave our children behind for so long, so saying he is uncomfortable with the distance doesn't make sense. What do I do? Any advice on how to navigate this? Now for an update. Thank you all. Just to clear a couple of things up. No, I wouldn't ever run with my kids and have never been encouraged to. It is something I would never do. Yes, there is a whole lot more going on. I did not skip it to be difficult. It is just too much history to go over. Yes, we have been to a relationship therapist. I currently go to my own every 2 weeks. He is verbally hurtful. However, he just believes that is him telling his truth. Nothing and no one will change his mind on that. I have let him know that I will attend the event alone. I have given him the dates and suggested that I take a few nights away beforehand so that my youngest and he can have a couple of nights to get used to it before I actually leave. He has started to message me. He is currently telling me that he never said I cannot take them. He did. I have messages. He said I am running out of time to basically convince him to let them go. Last update, I have since been told. To answer some questions, I spent an afternoon, night, and morning answering whatever questions he had. While he sat in his car in the driveway outside the house for the first 2-ish hours, he has now told me I can buy the tickets, but I have 5 things I have to do, most of which have to be done before I leave. I'm not sure what will happen if I don't meet his list or expectations. For everyone's benefit, none of these things in the list would increase his comfort in the kids going, checking on their safety, or for those who think I'd run, which, for the record, again, I would not, prevent that from happening. It is mostly to do with providing him with things he wants. So, I guess I am just going to buy the tickets and hope for the best. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. You should go alone. Unless you believe your partner is not to be trusted to care for the children, in which case you have a bigger problem than the wedding. For the future, you shouldn't have let the kids know it was an option for them to go before your partner agreed. Comment 2. What country are you returning to? It makes a big difference if you suddenly decide not to return with his children. I think he doesn't trust you to come home with the children. That is a huge issue for your marriage. Now, for the update. The other day, I posted about how I was struggling to take my kids to my brother's wedding overseas, while my partner was being a total jerk about it. So it's been 3 weeks since I bought the tickets, and here's the latest. My partner eventually agreed to let me take the kids after I met all of his ridiculous 5 demands. Not even joking, these demands were so stupid. Like, one of them was to buy him a new gaming console because I was going to be gone for a week. What? Like, I'm just supposed to hand him a new gaming console to keep him entertained while I'm away? I don't even get it. My kids were so excited about the trip, especially my 8-year-old. She wouldn't stop talking about seeing her uncles and all the fun stuff we were going to do. My mom spent hours helping with packing and organizing everything. I really don't know what I would have done without her. On the day of departure, my mom and I arrived at the airport with the kids, and guess what? My partner stayed home. He acted like he had to work and couldn't take any time off. I'm still not over that. Anyway, after a long, grueling flight, we finally arrived at the destination and were greeted by my brother. The wedding was set in this beautiful venue, surrounded by gardens and flowers. It was absolutely stunning. My kids adjusted pretty quickly, playing with their cousins while the adults got ready for the ceremony. I was so relieved that they were happy. One little thing that kept bugging me, though, my partner had been sending me a ton of messages, mostly just complaining about being home alone. I mean, like, boo-hoo, dude. During the wedding rehearsal dinner, my brother gave this really heartfelt toast about family and support, and I was just so happy to be there. The wedding day arrived, and honestly, everything was set to be perfect. I watched my brother and his fiancée exchange vows, and it made me a little emotional. My 8-year-old was dancing with joy at the reception, and my 2-year-old fell asleep in my arms. It was just so beautiful. But then later that night, I got a call from my partner. He accused me of abandoning him and threatened to take the kids from me when I returned. I just calmly explained that he was the one who agreed to me coming on this trip. Then he tells me that he was feeling left out and couldn't believe I chose my family over him. Like, can you imagine? I decided to ignore his call and focus on the celebration instead. A few days into the trip, I found out that my partner had been posting the most negative comments about me online. He was just bashing me, calling me out for making the decision to go, and saying I was prioritizing my family over our relationship. My brother found these posts and confronted me about the situation. After talking with my family about it, I planned a little surprise for my partner. I went ahead and collected all the screenshots of his posts and shared them with close friends and family for support. Honestly, I just needed people on my side to see how awful he was being. So then the trip came to an end, and I returned home. I set up a family dinner with my partner, my parents, and my brothers to talk everything through. When dinner time came, the vibe was just so awkward. Everyone could sense the underlying conflict, and I knew they were all kind of on edge. I brought up my partner's online comments and showed everyone the screenshots. He turned red immediately, trying to deny everything, but my family just looked at him like, "Are you serious?" My brothers defended me, saying he had totally crossed a line and needed to apologize. He finally admitted that he acted out of jealousy and just wanted to be a part of my life. He reluctantly agreed to attend couples counseling with me to work on our issues. My family's support really meant the world to me. They offered to help with the kids during this transition, and it just made me feel like I wasn't alone in all of this. Thank you for reading. Edit. My partner has now moved in with his parents temporarily. We have started couples therapy, and he's committed to making changes. It's early, but I'm hopeful for some positive progress. Am I the idiot for blasting my cheating partner's affair on social media and refusing his apology? Am I the idiot for blowing up my cheating partner's affair on social media and walking away? My partner, 34-year-old male, and I, 29-year-old female, have been together for 5 years. We have the most loving, wholesome relationship and have been blessed to have only had one rough patch that we communicated about, and we have grown back stronger than ever. Or so I thought. I found out yesterday that he had a full-blown affair about 2.5 years ago with his boss, a woman around 30 years old, at work. She is no longer there. They were seeing each other for about 2 months, had intimacy more than 20 times, and told each other they loved each other. This has all been confirmed by my partner. The worst part is that I found out from the other woman's partner, a man around 35 years old, of 7 years. He had suspected something happened since it started, while I, on the other hand, was fully clueless with 100% of my trust and devotion invested. The other woman's boyfriend found my partner's work email online and emailed him last Thursday, telling him he knows what he did and wants answers. My partner immediately started panicking and had the other man call him, and my partner confessed everything to him. The guy told my partner he needs to tell me by the end of the weekend, or he'll tell me himself. Well, Tuesday came and my partner did not muster up the respect for me to tell me himself. So I get a random Facebook message out of the blue that destroys my life. Or so it feels right now anyways. My partner says it was purely physical and wasn't emotional for him, though some of the details don't suggest that to me personally. It started during the one rough patch we had in our relationship. I was working full-time and studying more than 4 hours after work most nights to get my new career's licensing to build a better life for us. He wasn't getting a ton of attention during this time, I will admit, but also never suggested it was an issue that I was temporarily very busy for about 5 weeks. I legitimately had no clue whatsoever. We both discussed how it was a temporary timeline and how it was worth it for our future and goals. Yesterday, before I got the dreaded message, I would have told anyone that I would bet my life he was faithful and honest with me always. I would have told you we had such a strong and wholesome relationship, and we've worked so hard together to create a life that we both love. I would have told you that he is my forever human and bragged about how blessed I am. And now, I just don't know what to do. I don't know how I could move past this and mend our relationship. He is clearly full of remorse and said he will happily take years of making it up to me to not lose me. But I don't know. Please help. Please tell me what you would do or what steps you would take to consider your future moves. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. I'm so tired of writing the same thing. Don't let anyone give you excuses for their cheating, violent, or nonchalant behaviors. Please think for yourselves and walk away. He's remorseful because you found out and he has no one on his side. If he had, he wouldn't give a damn about you. Comment 2. He's only full of remorse because you know. In order to cheat on you, he has to not love or respect you. Because if he did love and respect you, he would have never even thought to have an affair. He was lonely. He wasn't getting attention. Boo-hoo. Now for the update, I'm 3 weeks post-disaster, and let's just say, things are still a mess. I found out my partner of 5 years had a 2-month affair with his boss, and it feels like I'm still dealing with the pieces of that. I'm not even sure I want to be with him anymore. I decided to take a break from us to clear my head, move back in with my parents, who honestly have been a total lifesaver. I just needed that space, that support, and let's be real, my own place felt like a minefield. Every corner had a memory that made me feel sick. My partner has been trying to reach out every day, every single day. Texts, voicemails, you name it. All of them full of regret and pleas for another chance. But honestly, I couldn't even look at my phone without feeling sick. So it stayed on silent, and I just avoided it all. My parents noticed something was off, which, how could they not? I was a walking storm cloud. They kept saying they were there for me in any way I needed, which was sweet, but I wasn't sure what I needed yet. One evening, my sister Kate came in clutch and invited me to a dinner party with some of her friends. She thought it might lift my spirits, so I reluctantly agreed. I was still feeling like I'd been hit by a truck, but I figured some good food and company couldn't hurt. At the dinner party, I met this friend of a friend who had been through something similar. We started swapping stories, and honestly, it felt so good to not be alone in this mess. She was super encouraging and told me I needed to confront my partner more directly about the affair. Up until then, I hadn't really done that. I was just in shock mode. So, feeling a little empowered, I decided to meet up with my partner for a chat. We met at this local diner we used to go to when things were good. The atmosphere was thick with unspoken words as we slid into a booth. You could practically cut it with a knife, I asked him if he'd talked to the other woman since all this crap happened. He said no, but I could see that guilty look in his eyes. So I decided to bring the heat and mentioned that I knew how long the affair had lasted and all the dirty details. He tried to play it down, calling it a mistake, and that just set me off. I was ready to leave this pathetic excuse for a conversation, so I stood up. But as I was walking out, I overheard this couple at the next table talking about my partner's affair. They knew stuff that no one else knew, and I hadn't told anyone. My stomach dropped, and I turned around, demanding to know how they knew. The guy said he worked with the other woman and had heard her bragging about it, which just made me so mad. I don't think I've ever felt more determined in my life. I decided to take a different approach. I was going to confront the other woman directly. I found her on social media and sent her a message, laying it all out. We agreed to meet at a coffee shop to talk about the affair. When we met up, she was super defensive and tried to act like she wasn't in it up to her neck. I hit her with the emotional damage that her affair caused, and things escalated. She ended up admitting that she regretted her choices, and honestly, it felt good to finally confront her. After our little chat, I decided it was time to take a public stand. I posted my story on social media, omitting names but giving everyone a good idea of who I was talking about. The post went viral among our mutual friends, and suddenly, everyone was talking. I can't even describe the satisfaction I felt when my partner was flooded with messages from people confronting him about what he'd done. It was like a wave of justice washing over me. A week later, he showed up at my parents' house wanting to apologize in person. He claimed he wanted to make things right and even offered to cut ties with the other woman altogether. I just calmly told him it was too late for apologies. He had his chance, and I had already made plans to move forward without him. Thank you for reading. Mini update: I ended the relationship. After the confrontation with the other woman and the social media fallout, I realized I deserved better and wanted to build a life without betrayal. Am I the idiot for wanting to cut ties with my husband's toxic sister after she ruined my birthday party? Am I the idiot for considering cutting ties with my husband's toxic sister who won't stop spreading lies about me? I got married to my long-term boyfriend last year. His family is incredibly kind and supportive and were always a fixture in our lives before marriage. One person who was not, however, was my husband's sister. She lived in Australia for the majority of our time dating and does not spend much time with the family. The reason why may become more apparent further down, but only moved back home when we got engaged. I was aware that we didn't know each other very well and wanted to make a good impression. I assumed she would be as sweet as the rest of her family and was excited when she attended a family BBQ. However, it was immediately clear she didn't like me. She was rude, subtly looking me up and down and blatantly ignoring my questions or comments and walking away without an answer to speak to someone else. When she did speak to me, it felt incredibly fake, as though I were back in high school talking to a mean girl. I myself am introverted, and it takes me a while to come out of my shell, so initially I wondered if she would eventually warm up to me. But that didn't happen. She'd continue with little jabs here and there, and while it didn't go unnoticed, she didn't stop. After my husband and I were married, things only seemed to get worse. My sister-in-law would start openly mocking or laughing at me in family settings, such as commenting on my hair or if I looked too made up. If anyone called her out for being harsh or inappropriate, she'd become defensive and laugh it off like they were making a problem out of nothing. My husband would try talking to her, but to no avail. She would just call him touchy. I eventually had enough and spoke to my mother-in-law one day, asking if she had ever noticed her daughter's actions towards me. She said she had and apologized for not doing something about it sooner. She promised to speak to her, and that apparently did not go down well. We're now at a stage where she refuses to come to parties and events if I'm there, saying I'm the one who has an issue with her. She talks about me disparagingly to friends, spreading false rumors that focus on my alleged promiscuity. To top it all off, I was told the other day by my father-in-law that she told him the reason I hate her is that she's beautiful, and I'm jealous. I'm so shocked by all this because I have never been anything but kind to her. We're both adults, and she does not have to like me or talk to me, but to be spreading false rumors about me is another matter. I suppose I'm posting this here to ask if there is anything in my power that I could do to make this better. Her own family has tried to step in, but she does not care. So is it even realistic that I could do anything? Maybe a totally clean break from her is the only way to go, but that would likely not stop her from fabricating rumors. Any advice would be welcome. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. 1. This is not your fault. You seem to feel like you're responsible for fixing this relationship with your sister-in-law. That is not your responsibility. You did everything you could, but she hates you, so it's time to stop because you are only hurting yourself. 2. Stop making everyone's life easier. Just be honest. Tell people you don't want to be around your sister-in-law anymore as she is rude and ruins any event for you. This will make her family actually deal with her. So far, you just take it, so her family just lets it go. 3. Talk to your husband. Tell him you don't want to be around her anymore if he can't fix this issue, or at least get her to just be civil to you. This is not your problem. This is your husband's and his family's problem to deal with. They should not have let it go on for so long, in fact. Stand up for yourself and respect yourself. Comment 2. No, there is nothing you can do to fix her. All you can do is change how you react. Stop giving her the power by not giving her any more of your energy thoughts. Yes, it sucks, but the more you focus on how she has wronged you, the more she wins. That's what she wants, to be in your head. It sounds like your husband and his family know not to trust her about you and already know you are a good person. Someone else mentioned the gray rock method, and that might be the only real option. Unfortunately, each time you react to her, you are reinforcing her bad behavior. Now, for the update. A few months have passed since the last family gathering where tensions peaked. Not much changed, to be honest. My husband and I were just trying to live our lives and avoid his sister whenever possible. But then my husband planned a surprise birthday party for me at our home. It was super sweet of him, of course. I had no idea what was going on. He invited his entire family, including his sister, despite everything that had happened. I asked him why he would do that, but he just said he wanted our families to get along. Okay, good luck with that, buddy. The sister RSVP'd yes, which I thought was a miracle in itself. But then she sent this passive-aggressive text about how she would attend if the atmosphere is right. Whatever that means. Honestly, I tried to ignore it all and just focused on preparing for the party. I wanted everything to be perfect. I spent so much time and energy getting everything ready, and I was really excited. On the day of the party, my husband and I were setting up everything, and then she showed up. Of course, she was late. And when she walked in, she made this grand entrance. Like she was the star of the show. She immediately made a scene by loudly commenting on the decorations, calling them cheap. My friends, who had come early to help, exchanged awkward glances. I was so embarrassed. The party went on, and I tried to ignore her and have a good time. But she kept making these snide remarks throughout the night. It was like she was on a mission. At one point, she cornered me in the kitchen. She started accusing me of trying to make her look bad in front of the family. I had no idea what she was talking about, so I just tried to engage in small talk. But she wasn't having it. She laughed sarcastically and brought up all the rumors she had spread about me. I could feel my blood boiling. I snapped back at her, asking why she was so fixated on me. She smirked and said it was because I was too sensitive. That's rich coming from her. Then my husband walked in, and you could cut the tension with a knife. He asked what was going on, and she pretended we were just having a sisterly chat. He rolled his eyes but let it pass. He knows how she is. Later that week, my mother-in-law called me to discuss the party. She mentioned that the sister-in-law had complained about feeling uncomfortable at the party. I mean, really? She was the one making everyone uncomfortable. Then my mother-in-law suggested a family dinner to clear the air. I reluctantly agreed, hoping it would help. At the family dinner, the sister-in-law brought her new boyfriend, who was completely clueless about all the family drama. This guy was making the most inappropriate jokes, targeting me right in front of everyone. My husband tried to intervene, but it turned into a heated argument with the boyfriend. It was chaos. The sister sided with her boyfriend, of course. In the days following the dinner, the sister-in-law escalated her rumors. She told everyone that I was trying to sabotage her relationship. My father-in-law confronted my husband about the tension and pressed him for a resolution. My husband suggested a family meeting to address everything once and for all. The sister-in-law refused to attend the meeting, claiming it was unnecessary and dramatic. So the family meeting took place without her. My mother-in-law tried to mediate, but it didn't go well. The sister-in-law called in via video, making snide comments from the comfort of her home. My husband defended me, but the sister-in-law's dismissiveness only intensified. The meeting ended with no resolution, leaving everyone divided. Just as we thought we were getting some relief, the sister-in-law posted a series of vague but pointed social media messages. They hinted at betrayal and deceit within the family, stirring up even more drama. My husband and I found ourselves in the middle of it all, with family members taking sides left and right. It became too much for my husband. He proposed a more drastic solution, considering cutting ties with his sister entirely. To answer a few questions, my husband and I had a long discussion about the events leading up to his drastic proposal. He shared that the conflict had deeply affected him, leaving him feeling torn between his family and his wife. We both experienced anxiety due to the family drama, and I found it hard to connect with my in-laws without the shadow of the sister-in-law hanging over me. My husband also mentioned that some family members had voiced their disappointment with his sister, which made him hope that a united front could resolve the issue. However, he felt that the lack of resolution left us with few options. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.